Awaken friends, Chris here, and welcome to a Flow and Let Go. This is a little sequence just to bring you into your body, into your space, to let go of any stress or anxiety that you might be holding, and just help you recover the presence of you today. When you're ready, let's start seated on the mat for just a little bit of breath work before we move into some flow. And the breath work is really just to get you out of whatever's going on, wherever you are, and just back into your body a little bit. And so with that, can you bring your hands into your lap, sitting in any comfortable seat, whether that's your bum to your heels, whether that's bum on the ground, on a bolster, on a cushion, whatever works for you. And as you arrive, let's just take a gentle breath in and out. And for your first thought for your breath in and out, would be great if you could subscribe, like this video, and find others across the channel. That would be amazing so you could see more of this content. But as you arrive into your space, let's take a nice deep centering breath in and let everything go on a big exhale. And as the breath starts to just soften and moving in and out, let your attention start to move out of your head and out of your mind and just into your body. And just take a dial for how it's feeling today. Whether there's tightness somewhere, whether there's something showing up for you just as you're sitting here and just as you're becoming mindful. Bringing your hands into your lap. At the end of your next exhale, let's bring our hands with us as we lift them up above, fingertips touching above the head. And exhale, bringing them down with palms together, thumbs touching past the nose, and just resting in against the heart center for a moment. And exhale fully back into that. Inhale, hands raising up, lifting our chest as our breath fills the back of our lungs, lifting up. Feel that nice stretch through the spine and the shoulders. And exhale, hands coming down. Just again, gently touching past your nose, and thumbs just nestling into your heart center, just a little bit firmer. And exhale fully. Get rid of all of that breath, hands to the left. Inhale, one really large centering breath. The breath is filling the lungs and the sides. Everywhere it's adding a lot of space. And exhale, let it all go. Thumbs grazing past, maybe your third eye, your nose, and resting into your heart center. And just take a breath in while your hands are here. And I invite you to bring your focus to your heart center for the rest of this practice. Let it connect with yourself. And let you just feel what's going on in your body today. And generally just how you're feeling. Hands down. Hands coming to the top of the mat, facing the front of your mat. And we'll move to a cat-cow position. Our hips are going to be stacking over our knees. Our index fingers are pointing to the front of the room. And we arrive with our shoulders stacking over our elbows, stacking over our wrists, and then a gentle pull open. So we bend the spine, articulating it up. Collarbones come to the front of the room. Shoulders roll back and down our spine. And exhale, doming, arching, as our gaze moves toward the back of the room. Inhale coming through. Really nice movement through the spine here. Feel that start to awaken all of those nice connecting tissues and muscles that keep us empowered through the day. And exhale. Every last bit of breath. And inhale, nice and open and forward. And then just a couple of breaths as you might move around dynamically. Let this be for you. Let this not be as symmetrical as you were just doing. Let it be more like life. It just moves in different, fun, dynamic ways. Breathe here. And let that breath take you on a journey, a little bit of self-discovery, as you just feel into what your body's feeling today. Coming back to the center of the mat, can we press the left palm a bit more firmly into the ground? Knees are underneath the hips here. I'm going to raise the right hand up to the sky. I'm going to lift all the way up. And as we come down, we're going to bend the left elbow just a little bit. We're going to bring the right hand down, the palm facing up, and let it hover above the ground as we thread the needle. Inhale, open back up. And exhale, coming down just to hover again, threading that needle, letting it float just above the ground. And inhale up. Third time here. And this time we're going to let it come and rest on the ground. So your right shoulder will land on the ground. Left hand will move out just above. If that feels comfy for you, to a nice twisted stretch here. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, let it go. Left hand down, coming back to center. Fixing up these little straps here. My cord's going a bit crazy. Right hand pressing into the ground. Knees stacking back under the hips and lifting up. The left hand. And letting that left hand just glide effortlessly down to hover just above. Right elbow's bent a little bit. And then lifting that left hand up to the sky. And for the rest of this class, I'm going to do things in threes. Left hand hovering above the ground again. A little bit of movement for the first two. Then we hold the third. Left hand up to the sky and then coming down. And this time as it lands, left shoulder on the ground. Bring it out to the side, palm facing up. And maybe walk the right hand up. And your gaze goes out across the hand. Or maybe just up a little bit under the armpit for a bit more of a deeper twist. Feeling that through the side body, releasing through the neck. Right hand down, left hand down, and coming back to center. And putting our legs out to the side, knees out to the side rather, and moving our hips back towards our heels as we just very gently come down to a child's pose. Head forehead towards the ground. And then pulling ourselves forward, elbows down as we move up a little bit. And we'll keep our feet, just bringing them in to the back so we can lift ourselves up to a cobra. I'll let cobra for a moment. Bringing our forehead down. Then pressing ourselves back, knees out to the edge of the mat. Bringing our heels back to touch as we move back to our cobra. And forearms down, moving forward across the mat, keeping our chest close to the mat. Bring our feet back together and gently lifting for cobra. Maybe lifting the palms off the ground this time so you can feel the strength of the back muscles really lifting you up. And exhale, pressing the hands down, knees out to the edge of the mat as we move back to our child's pose. Forearms down as we breathe up and through, bringing those legs together and lifting back to a cobra. And knees out as we move back and holding this child's pose for just a little bit longer. Forehead down to the ground and take a nice release here. And the theme for this class and created it was really focusing on earth and really bringing that element in for grounding and support and stability. So as you sit here and your forehead's on the ground and through any of these other further movements, just feel like the earth has got you. It's supporting you. It's taking you on this journey. It's giving you feedback. Doesn't matter if you're in a higher rise apartment, kind of like, or a bigger office space, kind of high up in the sky like I am. You can still feel the strength of the floor, of the ground, and bring that element in. And coming back up to our tabletop position, tucking the toes, and we're going to lift up into a downward facing dog. And if it's your first dog of the day, pedal it out. If it's your 100th dog of the day, you still might want to pedal it out. But take that space, maybe bending the elbows on the knees. And feel into that space. Your heels don't need to touch the ground. Maybe there's a nice gentle bend in your knees, which is really preserving that nice long spine. And coming out to the balls of the feet, let's tiptoe, 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 and walk all the way up so our feet are behind our hands. Bending the knees, we'll grab our elbows and we'll just gently sway here. Feeling the strength of the ground coming up through our feet as we just wake up our hips. Connect into that space. Coming back to center, just for a little bit of a deeper fold, wherever that is for you. Maybe knees are bent, which gives you less pressure on your lower back. And then bending the knees and roll your spine. Roll, roll, roll. Articulate every vertebra as they stack on top of each other. Shoulders come up last as we roll our hands open and forward, which brings our shoulders further back, onto our back and neck and head. Move into this beautiful alignment with our spine, just like a long piece of string. Moving up, tailbone gently pointing down to the ground. And our hands move up on the nice inhale, fingertips coming to touch above, our gaze follows, and we bring our elbows down to 90 degrees in a nice cactus with a gentle heart opening. Inhale, hands back up to sky, fingertips touch, and then exhale, hinging at the hips and folding down. Your chest offers its way back down to that earth as we fold in. Inhale, coming up, fingertips to the mat as we lift to a halfway lift. Then exhale, palms down and stepping back into a plank pose. Holding plank here, bringing that strength in, feeling it really build through your body, feeling all muscles connected and activated. If this is a bit much, you can bring your knees down. It's no problem at all. Heels moving towards the back of the room. And then ever so softly and gracefully coming down to the mat. Elbows grazing past the chest. And arriving. Lifting back up into a Cobra pose. Or pressing all the way up. And thighs coming off the ground into an upward facing dog. Rolling over the toes. And arriving back to downward facing dog. And take a breath in here. Inhale and exhale. Coming onto the balls of the feet. You can hop, skip, teleport, tiptoe, whatever suits you. Feet arrive at the top of the mat. When we come to a halfway lift, our fingertips go just below the knees. And we lengthen out our spine. Pressing up. And exhale, fold forward. Bending the knees. Inhale as we stack the vertebrae in our spine, one on top of the other and rolling all the way up. Shoulders open. Hands coming to the front of the room into our Tadasana pose, our mountain pose. Strength here, grounding. Feel the earth. Feel like you're just a massive part of it here, bringing the strength of a mountain into you. Inhale, hands come up. Gaze follows the fingertips as they touch. Exhale into a cactus with a gentle heart opening to the sky. Inhale, hands move back up, fingertips touch, and then exhale, hands coming back through our heart center and offering yourself down in a nice fold forward to the earth. Inhale, coming up, fingertips onto the mat, then exhale, palms to the ground, and stepping back to a plank pose. Holding here in our plank for strength, for length, and exhale, coming down to the mat and lifting up into our facing dog or Cobra, whatever works for you. And exhale over the toes and back to downward facing dog and take a nice breath in here. Now coming up onto the balls of our feet and again hop, skip, teleport, whatever works for you, to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Fingers just below the kneecaps, lengthening out. And exhale, folding down. Inhale, stacking your spine, vertebra by vertebra, rolling yourself all the way up. Shoulders, hands coming up, head and neck last. And arrive back into your mountain pose, your Tadasana pose. Inhale, fingertips coming up to the sky, gaze follows, and exhale, cactusing as we open our heart. Inhale, hands back up above, and then exhale, fold forward, down to the ground. Inhale, fingertips to the mat, lengthening out the spine in our halfway lift, and exhale, palms down to the ground, and step back to plank pose. Heels moving towards the back of the room. Hold your plank for a moment. Feel the strength here. Feel the eyes of your elbows here. The inside of your elbow joint. If it was moving towards the front of the room, shoulders are back. Neck and spine are in alignment. And then exhale, coming down to the mat. Inhale, pressing up. Thighs off the ground. And exhale, rolling over the toes. And back to downward facing dog. And bring our knees to the outside of the mat. Heels together. And moving back to our child's pose. And forehead down. Take a breath here as you connect back to the earth. Feel it resonate. Feel the strength moving up through your body. And coming back to our tabletop position, we're going to lift up into a downward facing dog, tucking the toes, arriving back to this nice, steady, strong position. And coming to the ball of the left foot, lifting the right foot up to the sky. Right knee will come up through the spine, like that nice dome, the nice articulation that we started with in our cat-cow. And the right toes will come up to the right thumb. Might take you a couple movements to get there, but just bring it up. And we turn the left foot to 90 degrees, and we raise up into our warrior 2. And we hold here. We feel our hands moving out from our shoulders in nice alignment. We just have a quick check to make sure our right knee is tracking over our right ankle, and then flip both palms, and we straighten the front leg as we fly up in this nice rhythmic warrior 2 into a flying warrior, and exhale, opening back to warrior 2. Inhale, front neck straightens, fingertips touch above our head to flying warrior, and exhale back to warrior 2. Flipping both palms, flying up, fingertips touch, and exhale back to warrior 2. Bringing our left foot with us, bring it up to meet the right foot. And we kind of stand back up at the top of the mat. Keeping with this nice fluid movement, but keeping the strength of the earth coming through us, ground your right foot into the ground. And lift your left knee up. And keeping our hands out in front, we're going to aeroplane. So our left foot's going to move back behind us. Our hands will move back with us. Palms are facing the ground. And we can move into this nice aeroplane position. Now, airplanes keep their noses up when they're taking off and landing. So you don't have to be perfectly horizontal rather. You don't have to be flat. You just need to be, feels good to you. And inhale, coming back up to stand. Now we're going to bring our left foot up, and we're going to step it to the back of the mat into this long lunge, and bring our left knee down to the ground and arrive into our Anjane Asana, our Ardha Anjane Asana, our lowered crescent lunge. Hands up to bring some length here and feel that nice release through our hip flexors. And then exhale, hands will come down, and keeping the toes tucked or untucked, we're going to move to an Ardha Hanuman, where we just straighten the right leg. Doesn't need to be perfectly straight. The knee can be bent, whatever feels good for you. And then inhale, coming forward. Exhale, moving back. And inhale, lifting up. And exhale, coming back. And just hang out here for just a moment. As I said, those toes can be tucked or untucked, whatever feels good for you. Chest can be elevated here, which just adds a little bit more of a stretch through the connective areas between your hip and your hamstring. I find that's good. If you want to fall down, go for it. It's up to you. It's whatever feels good today. Coming back up, putting your hands on the framing the right foot. Right foot comes back to meet left. Sitting our hips down towards our heels. And then breathing ourselves up in a nice lunar lift where our nose comes close to the ground. And we lift ourselves up into an upward facing dog or cobra. Roll over the toes. And back to downward facing dog. Take a breath in here. On the next inhale, come into the ball of the right foot. Left foot floats up to the sky. Left knee comes up through the chest, lifting and articulating as we bring the left foot up to left thumbs. Opening the right foot up to 90 degrees, we open up into our warrior 2. Hold here. Feel the length, feel the strength, feel the position of your warrior. Flipping both palms, fly up to the sky. And exhale, opening back up. Inhale, straightening the left foot. Hands and fingertips touch just above in our flying warrior. And exhale. Open back, maybe a little bit deeper into your warrior. And inhale. Fly up in this nice rhythmic warrior flow. And exhale. Back. Bringing the left foot with us. Let's move it to the top of the mat. Let's find that nice little bit of strength here. That grounding, that earth element, really breathing back some nice balance to our body. Left foot grounding into the mat. Maybe lift the toes and just grip the mat a little bit more. Depends also which is your more stable leg. Right's much easier for me. Left I'm a little bit more wobbly on. And that's pretty normal in life. Bringing the right knee up into the chest. Hands will flow. And we're going back to our aeroplane. And we're just moving back. Now keeping that left knee bent. Again, airplane's nose doesn't need to be completely horizontal. It's kind of lifted for takeoff and landing. And keeping a nice bend in that left knee. Straightening out wherever works for you. Palms facing the ground. Maintain your aeroplane. And then bending the left knee. Right knee comes up. And then right knee down to the ground. And shake it out for a moment. Come back to your strong position here. And then stepping the right foot back. And lowering the right knee down to the ground. Hands coming up into our Ardha Anjaneyasana, our lowered lunge position. And feel that opening through your right hip flexor. Maybe you want to go a little bit deeper to feel that. And then moving back to Ardha Hanuman. As we just toes tucked or untucked, straightening the left leg. So straight is relative, absolutely. And so it might be a nice bend in the knee to preserve your lower back, or keeping it wherever it feels good to you. Inhale, coming forward, hands lifting up. And exhale, moving back, untucking my toes for these last two. Inhale, left foot down to the ground as you lift up. Hands moving up overhead so you feel the length through the spine. And then exhale, coming back. Just holding for just a little bit here. Again, if your chest is elevated and lifting up, you're going to feel that through the connective tissues around your hamstring into your hip joint, which can be a really lovely release. And then inhale, coming up. Hands up to the sky. Feel that length through the spine. And then hands frame the left foot back to right, bringing our hips down towards our heels. And then nose close to the ground as we lifting ourselves up into our upward facing dog or cobra and rolling over the toes. And back to downward facing dog. And take a breath in here. Deep breath in. And exhale, let it all go. Into the balls of the feet, knees will come down to the ground. Hips will come back to heels. We sit back into our hero's pose for a moment. And take a breath in. Center in as you let the energy of this practice, the energy of movement that's flowing through your body. Just feel that energy cycling around. And bring your awareness back to your heart, to where we started. Just feel how your body's moving. And then sitting just across the heels, can we bring the left foot out in front of us? That's like 90 degrees. And the right foot out at 90 degrees to the side. So you kind of got this like little stack position. Hip, your leg, thighs out in front, and calves coming across. And the same at the side. And this is deer. This is a nice deer pose, a good release. It doesn't put as much pressure as pigeon does onto your knees, which can be great for all different body shapes. And it can be a lot more accessible. And take a deep breath in and then fold forward. And just hang out here. Forehead doesn't have to touch the ground. It can. Feel the release through the hips. And I invite you to, if you're feeling like you're really moving towards the left side, just aim to bring your shoulders and chest into alignment with your mat. As you're moving forward, you might feel a deeper release back around through your side body, through your hamstring and your glutes. And then inhale, coming up, feet out in front, and then we're just going to switch sides. So right foot, thigh coming out in front, foot moving to 90 degrees, and left foot, same deal, It's 90 degrees. Take a breath in. You might feel tighter through one hip to the other. You might feel this pulling in different areas. Wherever it is for you, take a breath in and then exhale. Fold forward. Now, you might just be moving to here and staying really highly elevated. That's great. You might be coming all the way down and your chest might touch the ground. Amazing. Wherever it is for you, go there now. And take a breath in. Breathe while you're here. Can't keep my head on the ground and talk through a microphone because it sounds like I'm underwater. So it also gives me a moment to just elevate and feel into different spots. Because I find when I am up higher and I'm in this kind of space, it really pushes and releases part of my hip into a different area than when I'm down lower, which is really targeting my glute. And then coming up, bringing our feet out in front of us. We're going to bring our fingers just under our knees to our thighs and then roll back very gently, bringing our feet out to the edges of the mat. And we'll bring our right knee up and hug it up into the chest. And then bringing the left hand to the outside of the knee, right hand up to the sky, and just gently bringing the left foot over towards the ground. It might not get there yet. If your foot's floating in the sky, just tuck the toes behind the knee and bring the right hand down towards the ground. And if you have the range, you can bring it over, but it's only if your shoulder is on the ground, because that will really help with release. If you're feeling like there's lots of pressure, you can bring your left foot out to the edge of the mat a little bit more, and that will just give you a little bit more room than trying to keep everything in perfect straight alignment. And coming back to center, hugging that right knee one time, releasing that right knee and bringing the left knee into the chest. Hugging that left knee up, maybe a little bit closer towards the armpit just for more of a release. And then left hand on the outside of left knee and moving across the body. And again, if the knee's just floating in the sky, tuck it behind the right knee. And then bringing the left hand down towards the ground. And again, shoulder, we really like the shoulder to be on the ground first. And then see if the knee can move across. And gaze can follow the left fingers. And whatever you did on one side, do it on the other. And if you don't have room, do it later. And breathe here. And again, you can move the right foot out a little bit, which just adds a little bit more room to the stretch. Left knee up into chest. And left foot out to the edge of the mat. And I invite you to lie here for a moment. You can keep your palms down on the ground for grounding, or putting your palms up to the sky to receive. Whatever you need today, just stay here for a moment. Stay here in this space, in the magic that you've created for yourself, with energy flowing around, with the time you've given for you. And I invite you to stay here with your eyes closed for as long as you want, taking deep breaths and just feeling into you. And as you lie here taking this time for you, just imagine the earth there, just giving you a little hug, bringing the strength up from it, from the mountains, from everywhere we went today. And I hope that energy stays with you and empowers you for the rest of your day and gives you some good, nice flow and chill energy to help you accomplish whatever else you want to accomplish today. I want to thank you for flowing with me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Namaste.